movies for black girl nerds.
Chris, it's such a pleasure, such an honor. I've admired you and your career for so long, and it's so cool to see you in something like this. Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
When you have a franchise like the Saw franchise, and you want to start making these branches out of the root of the series, what is the fine line between making sure you stay true to the formula that's propelled it for so long, but still make it unique in its own thing, like you're doing with this one?
I mean, well, I think we had like a little deal on the set, or even before we started shooting, where Darren, the director, and Mark and those guys were in charge of the horror, and I was in charge of the comedy, right? And we also had a understanding that horror is reigns supreme. So I could be funny, but as long as it didn't undermine what, the scary things that were happening or about to happen. And I think we kind of walked it really good. So you got a very scary movie with really funny moments here and there to like lighten it up that you normally don't get in a scary movie.
It was those moments of lightness that kind of endeared you to me even more without it going full, ha ha, cackle, cackle, because it did remain the integrity. When you look at some of the horrific things that this franchise are known for, do they make you laugh? Was it hard for you to get through some of those things that people will see without laughing?
I mean, I have a sick sense of humor, so I can kind of get comedy out of almost anything,
Mhm.
which is a gift and a curse. Some things make me laugh, but that would be off screen more so. But
Mhm.
so my job as an actor was to really convey, fright and really convey the seriousness of the drama that was ahead of me.
Mhm. Do you think that comedy and drama are as opposite ends of the spectrum as people think they are? Or are they more sisters? Are they more cousins? How close are those emotions, do you think, to each
I
other?
think they're cousins. I mean, the best comedy to me has a little truth in it. That's what I've been trying to do like my whole career. Tell like hard truths funny. Like get a real serious message out in a comedic way. So in that way, like you need the drama for the great comedy, I feel. I mean, you can have funny things without drama, but they tend to get to the silly place, and I'm not really into silly.
Right, right. So, and lastly, the pairing of you and Samuel L. Jackson, that's just magical to me. If you had to keep a MF counter on set every day, what number how many MFs do we get out in the course of a day with you guys shooting?
Oh, Sam's way more than me. I'm not the MF guy really. I mean, I'm the F guy, but MF, I save that for special occasions. I don't just like throw them around loosey goosey. Nah.
Well, that was terrific. I enjoyed you in this, Chris. The horror, I like the line seat blurred, and you were great. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Take care. Max, thank you so much for your time. Saw is one of my favorite franchises of all time, and now we get to see another kind of branch from the tree with Spiral. When you participate in a project like this that has such deep roots in the horror genre, is it intimidating for you to walk into something already established, or do you feel like it's your chance to make it new?
It's exciting. That's the word I would think of. I mean, it was really exciting, the whole project. Getting to be a part of the Saw movies is really exciting, and then getting to work with all these insanely talented people was really exciting. And then I also happen to really love the character and the script. So all of this one was fun. It's a very easy movie for me to talk about.
Mhm. When the essence of these films is we will see the fallout of what people undergo stemming from a misdeed that we probably won't know exactly what that misdeed was until we get into the big payoff. Is that the same situation here, that we're going to see the fallout of a single misdeed by a group of people, I guess you could say?
I don't want to give too much away, but I will say that the movie absolutely does embrace the traditions of Saw, which is what I think you're hinting at. You know, they have a very specific visual language. There's certain things that happen in every Saw movie that you want to happen, and I think it delivers on all of that. And at the same time, it's a very kind of new and fresh take on the franchise.
For sure. One thing that is always front and center with a film like this is the up in the of the ante with the gore, with the deaths of people in the film. What is it like on a day to shoot one of those type of scenes, whether you're in it or you're just watching it? What are those kind of days like?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to avoid a lot of those days. But when I was there, it was kind of like a fun fair ride. Like, you know, it was crazy to see it all in person, and the traps are really elaborately made and often functional. The sets on this movie were incredible. Um, so I felt like a kid in a candy store. It was really cool to see how it all works.
Mhm. And lastly, horror is always going to have a special place in the film industry. And people think when you do a horror film, it's quiet on set and everyone's tight and sensitive and doing all these things to make that wow factor come forward. Is that what it's really like behind the scenes when we're not seeing it? Is everybody just quiet and rank and file waiting for their turn?
Definitely not quiet on this set. We're all kind of loud people, actually. It's funny you say that. I've never thought about it, but between Chris, Darren, myself, Mark Berg, it's a lot of loud people. A lot of dudes shouting at each other, but we had fun. We really did. It was something that you could just tell we all cared about. Everyone worked really, really hard. So even though there was a lot of joking around and the energy was pretty intense on set, I also felt like it was balanced out by some real professionalism and people really putting the time in, from the bottom up, all the crew, like everyone just really gave their all to this.
That's awesome. Well, I enjoyed you very much. I'm looking forward for people to see the chain of events play out, and I thank you for your time so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Take care. Marisol, you look beautiful. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. This is the Saw movies. The legacy of Saw has always been interesting, not in just the horror, but the uniqueness and how the horror is carried out. For Captain Angie Garza, she's in the mix with all these characters, her team, and they're getting ready to go through this journey from the beginning to the end. What is the hardest part for you as an actress stepping into a franchise that's kind of already established, or is there even any difficulty in something like that?
Thank you. It's a good question. I think the difficulty was that the director has done all of these, the writer has done all of these, and they know this so well that I'm used to stepping on a set and it's all new for everybody. And this is not new for them. They know this, right? It's new for me. So I better be on point. I better know what I'm doing. I better have done my research so I can keep up. That being said, they were so wonderful and so collaborative and just really gracious. It was a blast. It was really easy.
Mm-hmm.
Really
with the team getting back together and bringing in new people like yourself, the history of these types of films is there's an occurrence that happens, and throughout the course of storytelling, all these people become entangled with this one initial occurrence that has bad consequences for some. In this case, they're using the police as sort of a catalyst for all of these things that are going to happen. When you look back, when you look at some of the prior Saw films in your course of getting ready, is this a scarier thing since it's rooted in a more of a realistic type of storytelling compared to the others where the characters had a personal interaction that led to that?
Right. I think I can only speak for me because certain audience members might think something else is more scary than something else. But for me, it is because when you have a killer who's smarter than the people who are supposed to be the ones you call when you're in trouble, that's scary, right? So the cops are supposed to be the guys that you call, and they're used to this, and they know homicide, and they know how to trace down facts and sniff out clues and see out points and follow them up. And this guy's cleverer than them and is targeting them. And to me, that's just scarier. Anyone who thinks they're smarter and above that is a little terrifying. You know, they're not scared of anything then.
Captain Angie, what type of captain would you say she is? Supportive, no nonsense? Because we get to see some layers to her personality and how she interacts with her team. What type of a captain would you say she is?
I think she's fair. I think she's fair. I think she tries not to play favorites. And she learned a lot from Sam's character, Chief Marcus Banks. But I think she's fair. I think she's earned the respect of her juniors. She's earned the respect of the squad. They're not going to try and mess with her. And she's kind of no bullshit, to be honest. Like, just get the job done. You get the job done, you're on my good side. You don't get the job done, you're not. It's that simple. Do your job. And I like that. I really loved embodying her and the sort of the strength and the experience she would have to be able to run these guys. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And lastly, it now being completing this horror project, how does this change your perception of horror as an actress? It enlightened, was not, how has this experience changed you?
I mean, I've been a fan of horror for so long. So, you know, in my 20-year career, I'm like, when am I going to do a horror movie? When do I get to do a horror movie? So for me, it's like a check mark, like a bucket list. I'm like, done, got it. It just changed my perspective because I got to see the other side of it, which I love. And I loved being a part of it.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Marisol, for your time. You were terrific. And I can't wait for folks to see what the dun-dun is at the end.
Thank you so much.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerds. Better shake your booties for black girl nerds.